This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. It's real easy to talk about what you saw from one glance of the starters in the preseason. It's another thing to go in and take a deeper dive and look at everything with a fine-tooth comb and find what you liked and what you did not. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do a film breakdown on the starters portion, both offense and defense, of the second preseason game for the Cleveland Browns, to see what is really exciting about what we saw, what was exciting but maybe not as exciting as first initial glance, and what might be a little bit concerning. So let's jump into it. All right, so this is the first play from scrimmage. This is the defensive starters. You have Zadarius out here, and let's just let it roll, and then we'll rewind as we need to. And this here's a run stop. I know we all forgot what this looks like because the Browns really didn't get that many run stops last year. But this is a run stop. I think this is a nice run stop. What we're going to see here, let's watch Okoronkwo on the right side of the offensive line. Does a good job here, just attacking, getting into this man's chest, doing a swim move, and finding a crease there. I believe there's Jordan Elliott getting drove on a double team, which is whatever, and then gets there. But what I also like to see, because it's one thing to have a good play from the standpoint of, hey, Okoronkwo made a play, all that and all that. That's cool. I'm not hating on any of that. I really do appreciate it because it didn't happen much last year. But there's other elements of this that you want to see, especially in a preseason setting. And one of those elements that you want to see is your linebackers, right? Because that was an issue last year, was that we weren't really getting in our run fits. Well, look at JOK here doing a great job of getting into this run fit, right? So even if Okoronkwo doesn't make that tackle, we got Dalvin Tomlinson one-on-one here. He's long right now, so he can control which gap he wants to shoot. So if he tries to go around, this is done for, because not only is Zadarius still in the zone of the play, but Dalvin can easily disengage and get over to that gap. He can also disengage and get over to that gap, and also JOK is there. So yeah, it's nice that Okoronkwo made the play. No doubt, not going to complain about that. But also, it's even nicer that that run was never going to go anywhere because they were where they were supposed to be. They were disciplined in their run fits, which wasn't a thing last year. All right, here. Nice little rush. Well, actually, we're going to see, is that Okoronkwo? I believe it is. He, again, just tries to go up the chest, does a little bull rush. But unfortunately for him, 76 is able to help out. And I think the tackle does a good job of anchoring and pushes him completely out the play. And this is going to happen. In the Jim Schwartz style defense. Every defense has their pros and cons. Jim Schwartz is going to let you attack on the defensive line. We love that for pressure, for sacks, right? You're going to be able to just try to get at the quarterback if you're an edge rusher. But what's going to happen a little bit more often with the Jim Schwartz defense is that you're going to have guys who sometimes blow contain because they're trying to get to the quarterback. You can't have aggressiveness without some of this, right? This is just going to happen. What happens here is, Okoronkwo being real aggressive. It backfires on him. He can't really see that coming. And then it blows open a huge rush lane. Another reason why this is going to happen a little bit more in the Jim Schwartz defense is you're going to be playing more man, which means quarterback scrambles are going to be a thing. I think Thornhill does a good job of attacking, limiting the damage here. But that's going to happen. I'm not saying, oh, that's going to be a bad thing. It's going to cost this team games. We just have to understand what are the consequences of the defense that the Cleveland Browns are running. We got to have a realistic understanding of that, because some people are going to get mad whenever the defense doesn't like smother a team to death. And that's just not realistic. The way you're designed on defense, the way you decide to play, you're going to be more susceptible to some things than others, and you're willing to take those disadvantages for the advantages because you want the advantages to work out. So if you're Jim Schwartz, yeah, sometimes our edges might overrush their lanes and blow contain and let a quarterback sneak happen for 6 yards. But also, I'm willing to bet that I feel like I can get 30 sacks between Miles and Zadarius Smith alone if I allow them to, go loose. And I think that would be better for the team than, the handful, well, the 10 or 12 first downs that we give up on the scramble during the season. So this play right here, I believe, is a hold. So Isaiah McGuire does a good job here. And I think there's like 2 holds on this play. So I think Maurice Hurst gets held here. Yeah, Maurice Hurst gets held here, right there. Boom. And then also at the same time, Isaiah McGuire gets held. So you're getting good pressure from the left side of this defensive line. I would love to see Siaki Ika get a little lower here. I would love to see him get lower. See, you see what happens here. Watch 62. He gets real high here at his start. You see how he's already higher than the guard? So he gets real high. And once he gets caught up high, his weight doesn't really matter anymore. Right? He gets no push. And he can't do nothing right here. So what you want to see him do is get a little lower. Start a little lower. Now, it might be hard to do. He might not be the most flexible guy in the world. Even for him, like, I don't know why he starts so far off the line of scrimmage, too, because that has to contribute to him getting so high here. And I don't know if this is an accident. Some guys, and again, where people line up, I want to make this clear, where defensive linemen line up, whether it's closer to the guard or away from the guard, it's usually a preference. So it's not like a mistake that they're doing this. And I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think it's just like, hey, how do you like getting off the ball? You see like Maurice Hurst is getting in real close, right? Same thing with Isaiah McGuire. But then you look here, I think that's about the same distance. The camera angles is going to make that look further. But then you look here, you can see where the 1 yard marker is for all of these guys. Most of these guys are on the 1 yard marker. And then you see Ika's a bit further back here, right? Away from that 1 yard marker. So that 1 yard line, yeah, he's a little behind it. So I wonder why he started so far back. Was that just an accident? I think it cost him to get, I think it caused them to get a little high here because he had to reach in order to punch. So maybe he feels like that launch helps him pass rush. I don't know. I think he's going to have to adjust that strategy in the NFL. Again, it was a hold, so even if that play's caught, doesn't matter. All right. So this play right here, Maurice Hurst does a great job. So they're going to send Mike Ford, the nickel corner, on a blitz here. And I believe they dropped somebody back. I believe it's Isaiah McGuire. The tape will correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe he drops back. You're still sending 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. The ideal is to make these 2 slide, make these 3 slide, create a hole, and then let that delayed blitz run in there to get a free run there. Now, Hurst knows that he's going to be on the edge here because he has to kind of go out wide here for his blitz. And he knows, hey, if Mike Ford is successful and pressures him, this quarterback's probably rolling this way. So I got to make sure I can release that way. Now, I'll make all of these lines make sense in a second, but we'll see it here. So, yeah, McGuire drops back in coverage, covers the flat. What covers that? Yeah, he covers that crossing route. He actually does a good job there. You see Mike Ford blitz, And now they also sent Jordan K. The lane opens up for Mike Ford to get that free run. That pressure happens, and boom. And what makes this sack happen, right? Because if Maurice Hurst did not handle this double team as well as he did, and this is why I say sometimes people will like say you can't criticize a defensive tackle because they're getting double teamed, but that's part of the job. And this is him handling the double team well. Because look, he knows he's going to get doubled. He attacks it, tries to split it right down the middle, and then focuses on getting long here so he can swim out of it and get to where he needs to get to. Hall of Fame game, he wasn't doing that as much. This game, he handled it well. Mike Ford gets there. And if Mike Ford is just the only one blitzing and Maurice Hurst is not in a position to capitalize, I think the quarterback can escape this pressure. But Maurice Hurst being there alters the path and blows it up. This is a screenplay. And they fool the Browns pretty good on this screen, right? The Browns, and you're going to fool a Jim Schwartz defense on screens a little bit because, again, the more aggressive you want to be, the more susceptible you're going to be to screen some play action. But that's part of the calculation, right? You're willing to take that because you feel like, one, it's not going to hurt you as much as not being aggressive, and two, you have the athletes that can even when you get fooled on the defensive line, can make up for that linebacker. And this is JOK here. Watch him just crash down, completely beat this guard to the spot. And I wonder, when did JOK realize what was going on here, right? He was in coverage. He was chopping. And right there, he sees it. Right there, he sees it, and he's gone. So that recognition, the ability to get there quickly, and then make a play on it, even if he doesn't make the tackle, he just trips him. That's enough to kill this screen. So it's really good by JOK there. Again, good recognition. The second, you can tell he recognized this early. The second his running back started to move out here, and then he saw that guard. He's like, okay, I can get to this. Boom. And then look how he just kind of dips. Love that dip. This is a nice subtle move here by JOK. Look at this nice dip here he does. Look. Gets here, it just dips under it. This is why a lot of people still believe that he's special. Because he can just dip, stay balanced, and still wrap up. That's special athleticism there. All right, let's look at the offense now. Deshaun here, pretty basic look. He's going to throw this out to Elijah Moore. That's the right play on first down. Handoff here, nope, play action. And he throws a little dump off. Again, they're not showing too much. Quick little play here for 5 yards. It's a little run play here to Elijah Moore. So let's look at what's going on here because this is a little bit more interesting. So they're going to pull. Yeah, so they're pulling the guard in the center. Jed's crashing towards the 3-tech. By the way, Jed does a great job there. That's a great job by Jed. So Jed does a great job completely just standing up that tackle. These guards are allowed to pull. Posick picks up this linebacker, and I don't know how he saw. This is a great look at this block by Posick here. Look at that. Without getting a hold. Look at that. Look, 55 on your screen. Look, Posick gets here. He's running already. Like Posick's supposed to be pulling here. Right? The idea, it's kind of like a screenplay, but a handoff, right? You just pull these two guards, you try to get out in space, and you try to go for what you want to. But if you see anybody about to blow this play up, it's your responsibility to take care of them. I'm just shocked that Posick was able to identify, see this, stop mid-sprint, turn, not get a holding penalty, and then actually get a block in on this linebacker. And that ended up being key because that's the one guy who could have been able to chop him down. Elijah Moore gets free here. Is there another block? Peoples-Jones did a decent job there too. Is that David Njoku on the edge holding his own? Yeah, that's a helmet sticker for Ethan Posick though. All right, Browns in empty here. Empty 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's a running back in there though. So this is still 11. One tight end, one running back. Here. So what happens on this play? I think he's just gonna throw. I think on this play, and look, the feet in the shotgun are so much better than last year, right? So yeah, I think this is a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3, right to his landmark. And he's right where he's supposed to be. So he's not overshooting his depth. That's much better than it's been for him in the past. Yeah, I think he's just getting ready to either throw this to Elijah Moore or he's going to throw it to Njoku. It's just a quick play to get like 5 yards on first down. What happens, though, is Chase Young gets the best of Jed Wills here. So Jed gets 1, 2, squares up with him, gets a good punch. So good punch there, right? Lands that punch. Little early, though. Little early. You can tell it's a little early. Look how his ass is out. So he's just a little early on that punch. And since he's early on the punch, yep, that's what happened. He was just early on the punch. So Jed, for y'all who want to complain about Jed, I'll give you the right things to complain about and not like the lies that people be telling you. All right, so Jed gets his step here, and he just is a little early on this punch, right? If he punches him a half a second later, he'll be fine. But since he's early on this punch, look what it does to his body position. Now his arms are out, his knees are back, and his ass is out. That's not a powerful position for an offensive lineman. Once Chase Young feels him reaching with his fingertips to get that punch in, he knows that he can go underneath him because, again, he's not powerful. And Jed tries to hold him to basically stop him from getting to Deshaun. Deshaun somehow absorbs the contact of not just Chase Young, but Jed Wills wrapped around him. They're going to run this time to the right side. You're going to see Michael Dunn pull here, 68. Pulls right into that gap. You get exactly what you want. That guard gets a free run into that gap. Just split through it and get loose. All right, they're going to do an orbit screen, fake pass, and then they're going to throw a screen here to David Njoku. And what happens on this play is, as much as Posick played well in those other 2 snaps, I think this is his first mess up of the day. So we're going to let the play out, and I'll tell you what went wrong. Because this should have worked, but there's one reason it didn't. All right, so Posick's the reason it didn't, and I'll show you why. Not a big deal, but, wasn't his finest hour on this play. So Posick gets out of his stance. He's doing what he's supposed to now. And then there's he hesitates for half a second here, as if he's trying to find his landmark on the field. And that made him late. So if we watch 55, now he's late. He's right here when he should be right here. It's only a yard difference. It's only a half a second hesitation. But football's a game of inches. It's a game of fractions of a second. Since he hesitated for a fraction of a second, he didn't come out clean. He's not here. That means he's not in a good position to block either this guy or this guy. And that's going to be what ends up blowing up this play. Because, this guy's running free, but that's supposed to happen. The belief is that David Njoku can just outrun him if he gets to the outside. But David Njoku can't take the outside because of what happens next. See? So he's just a little bit behind. He's engaging late. You see how Wyatt Teller's already engaged? You see how Ethan's not? Ethan should have been engaged with that blocker at this point. He's a yard behind. Just a little bit of a fraction of a second hesitation. Now he can't get on this guy. And because he can't get on that guy, David Njoku has to alter his angle. So if David was running this way, he's going to beat that angle for this edge rusher. This edge is not going to get him if he's able to take a downhill angle. But since this guy comes in here, blocks that angle, and Posic's supposed to beat her, he's not. He has to take a wider angle, and the wider your angle is, the easier it is to catch you from behind. The thing I love about football is it's kind of like a clock. And what I mean by that is one gear going wrong on the clock can mess up the whole mechanism. Just something as simple. And look, you're going to see this little interaction with Ethan. Ethan knows he messed up. He's going to be like, hey, man, yeah, I was late. My bad. I got caught up doing something. But one guy that's integral to that play being just a little late is enough to blow it up. A play that might have scored a touchdown, a play that might have went for 10, 15 yards, ends up as a net zero loss. Football is fascinating when you pay attention to it. All right, so what happens here? Basically, Watson gets in this drop. I think it's a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's a 5-step drop. And again, he's right where he's supposed to on his 5-step drop. He's right at his landmark. Has room to step up if he wants to. But what happens is he slips. Right? Just for whatever reason, doesn't get that foot down. Turf slippery, whatever happened. So he slips. Now the play is kind of out the window because he slipped and he doesn't want to make a terrible decision throwing the ball in the red zone. And I think this is a great decision by Deshaun, by the way. He slips and decides, hey, I'm not going to make a panic, quick decision trying to throw this ball in the red zone and accidentally throw an interception. We saw him do that last year. Instead, I'm just going to be Deshaun Watson. And what does that mean? I can do stuff like this. Hey, that's a 3-tech, got his hands around my hips. That doesn't matter. Now I'm going to outrun the defensive line, cut past this guy, and damn near almost score a touchdown. And I'm like confident if this was like a game in the playoffs that mattered, he doesn't go down here on purpose and he has a chance to score. All right, they run this read option play. I think Jack was just a little late getting to his man here. And that blows up this whole thing. I don't think Jack thought that Deshaun was ever going to keep that ball in a preseason game. Jack's like, what the hell? He has the ball. Like, you can see it in his body language right here. Look. Like he misses the block. First, he's like, why the hell is he going this way? And then he looks at Deshaun running the ball. He's like, what are you doing? I don't think he expected Deshaun to keep it in a preseason game. I think he just got caught off guard by that. It's no big deal. All right, this run play here. They're gonna pull. Jed does a great job getting to the second level. Kind of whiffs there on the second level, so never mind. Take that back. Not a great job, but I don't think it really impacts the play that much. Let me see. Yeah. Who's blocking there? Is that Elijah Moore blocking there? Yeah, so Elijah Moore does a good job here, sealing. And Felton tries to stay on balance, score. Real close there. All right, so this first goal line play, and like people were complaining about this so much. I don't really understand why, because if you look at it, there's nothing really to complain about other than, hey, Demetric Felton just didn't see, or Demetric Felton just wasn't patient and didn't wait for this to open up. So what happens here? is that Dimitrik is supposed to take this hole. That's where they're pulling guys. That's where they're pushing guys. That's clearly where this play is. You can already see here, if you pay attention, that there's starting to be a seal here. Jed's really doing a good job sealing his guy off. If you've played running back before, you know when you do zone wide zone run schemes, you want to see two asses pointed together. That's usually where you want to run towards. Dimitrik's supposed to just wait for that to develop and run through it, and then try to beat a linebacker if he needs to. Instead, Dimitrik cuts this back out because he doesn't like what he sees initially. And he was just being impatient there. I think there was open for him, and you're going to see it open up. So he doesn't take it. And if you're watching the ball, he gets tackled here. But watch where he's supposed to be. You see where Posick shoots through? Posick right there. So my bad. I pointed out the wrong gap to y'all. But Posick, he's supposed to be right on Posick's ass, riding that through to the end zone. And that should be a touchdown because we're going to see Posick get through here. Boom. Boom. You see the seal? You see it? Right there. There's a seal. As here. And then free center on a DB. It was there. He didn't trust it, so he didn't see it. He didn't take it, but it was there. If he trusted it, it would have been right there. So good play call. I mean, if we're judging that kind of thing in the preseason, that play call worked. Dimitrik didn't trust it though. And that's because Dimitrik's instincts are always going to be to bounce things out because he's a smaller guy. Yeah, that's where having Nick Chubb in that game. Nick Chubb is going to put his head down, get right behind his center, and just push, and you'll score. It's not a big deal here. And then they do basically the same run play they had success with all game, where they pull these two guards, and it's there. It's just, hey, it's John Kelly. He's not gonna outrun Montez Sweat, and he's not gonna break that tackle. It's there though. It's the lane's there, so it would have scored if there's probably a better player. And so, you know, for everybody being dramatic about the goal line situation, really not that much to be dramatic about. All right, but this was really cool. So Zadarius Smith, I mean, just manhandling whoever this tackle is. Look at that. Look at that. Good punch. Push release. I'm going to get in that gap. Imagine if that's Miles on the other side. Just throw it out of bounds. And the reason he throws it out of bounds is because JOK, look, the linebackers are going to be a little bit more important in this system, especially somebody like JOK, because look, when the line's aggressive and they give up their rush lanes and they blow contain, one of these guys has to be there. And JOK is the perfect guy to be there because he's a great athlete. And we can see JOK avoids this scramble by one, staying in his spot, maintaining his rush, seeing that this guy's going to have a little bit of a lane and saying, nah, you ain't got it. This right here. Good run stop. Who is that? Juan Thornhill there. Dalvin Tomlinson just beats his man, gets there. I mean, that's just basic good play. JOK does a lovely dance here. Don't know what it is. I guess it's rocking the baby. I don't know. All right, 3rd and 10. Pass rush here. Zadarius Smith just manhandles this guard. Just off the jump. It looks like, what, was it Dalvin Tomlinson as well? Or is that Jordan Elliott? That's Big DT. Big DT on that guard too as well. Let's pay attention to him because Zadarius got the call. But he does a great job here of using this twist. And this is why I talk about pick and roll partners. This is what I talk about all the time. Watch this two-man action. When I talk about pick and roll partners on the defensive line, this is what I mean. Watch this side right here. They're basically going to run a little pick and roll. So Obo is going to rush this way, and Dalvin is going to extend, get as long as possible. So when Obo comes through, it breaks up the arms of this guard so he can release upfield. Watch this. This is really cool. I don't know if this is intentional, but it's something that they can add to their repertoire, right? So Obo going wide. You see Dalvin get nice and long, and then he's driving towards Obo. By the way, offensive hands to the face right here. They didn't call it. Good thing they didn't, because that wouldn't have been a safety. So right here, getting long, and then boom, pick and roll. And look, the big man, just like in basketball, right? The pick gets set. The big man rolls to the basket. That's beautiful. Also, 71 held the life out of Zadarius Smith. It's almost like he forgot that it's a safety either way. But I guess a better safety that doesn't get your starting quarterback hit, right? This pick and roll stuff is going to be interesting to watch, or it's like stunts, twists. I like to call them pick and rolls because I think it fits the philosophy of what the defensive line is, and which is when you get those four guys on there, it's kind of like basketball. You do this, you do that. You could draw up things along the defensive line like in the middle of a game. And this right here, Martin Emerson got robbed because that ball is caught. He establishes himself. He is not down yet. He has not given himself up. And that is a fumble. Forced fumble. And that should be a touchdown. So that's what the starters did during the preseason opener. Well, the home preseason opener for the Cleveland Browns. And I would say that was a successful outing. You saw what you wanted to see, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night.